Welcome back to the channel, everyone. And today we got a special guest, Lemmy, here, as he needed to say a few things before we started this video. Lemmy, you want to tell the people what you've done? What'd you do, Lemmy? Well, Lemmy, a lot like Cobra Commander back in the 1980 G.I. Joe movie, cartoon animated movie, one of the greatest movies of all time. It's the trial of Lemmy Peterson, very similar to the trial of Cobra Commander. As trying to do an entrance greats retrospective video here today, and old Lemmy decides he wants to get rambunctious, knock into my table as I'm starting to set up some things. And what did you do, Lemmy? Tell the people. Don't be silent. Well, Lemmy knocked off Bill Goldberg. Bill Goldberg, entrance great. Lemmy, how dare you? How dare you? Why would you do such a thing? Knocked it off. We got a little rip in the package. We got a little crack in the top. Belt's kind of coming off. Bill took a heck of a fall. Landed just right. And it's all this little guy's fault. Luckily, this isn't too expensive of a figure. I'm going to have to buy a new one, mint on card, unfortunately. Thanks to this guy. But we'll see what we can do. So, just a little Easter egg. Take note in the video. This one's not in the greatest condition. It's seen better days. Unfortunately, I already have a loose one. So, I don't know. Have to find a new one. But that's Lemmy and his dedication to helping my collection. So, tell everybody bye, Lemmy. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Kyle here, as usual. So, today I thought I would do a video, not an unboxing video, but kind of a retrospective of a forgotten Mattel line. You know, we all remember the Elites, obviously, the Basics, the Ultimate Editions, which are new and we have right now, the defining moments, but there was also another line that doesn't get a whole lot of love in the whole Mattel scale of things, and that is the Entrance Greats line. You know, the Entrance Greats line started way back when Mattel took over the license around 2010, and they had a few series, then they went on hiatus for a while. They came back, a little more hiatus, then threw us the final one, which was Elias at the very end of, about a year ago. But a great line, totally forgotten about by most people, and a lot of people maybe haven't seen this line ever, or in a long time at least. So I figured, hey, why don't we go through, let's talk about the Entrance Greats. Let's go one by one through the line in order, and I'll give you some of my thoughts on them, and we'll go from there. All right, jumping into the Entrance Greats. Like anything else, let's start at the beginning. Let's start with Series 1. They came out of the gate with a strong lineup, in my personal opinion. So, Entrance Great number 1, Triple H. I'll read the back here. After winning the Road to WrestleMania tournament, Triple H was the #1 contender for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 22. Although he failed to defeat reigning champion John Cena, Triple H's determination to fight until the end earned the respect of both the crowd and his opponent. Relive Triple H's unforgettable entrance at WrestleMania 22 with this highly detailed figure and base featuring his theme song, King of Kings, and his authentic crown, medallion, loincloth, gauntlets, cape from the famed event. Let's see if the theme still works. We all know the King of Kings. Our boy Lemmy, Motorhead. Let's see. So on the back of on the voice box thing they have there, that's the store demo mode. They have a much longer one you can turn it to, and they also have an off switch you can turn it to. And that carried on throughout the whole line. But a very cool figure. Love the Motorhead entrance theme music stand, which is really cool. This is one of my favorite outfits of Triple H. If you guys remember back to the Jax line, there was a limited edition Jax figure in this same outfit. So this is Mattel's take on it. You know, a lot of people say Mattel did it better. It is a very, very nice figure. But the one thing you got to remember about some of these Entrance Greats that I think a lot of people have forgotten about or probably don't know, the first 3 series, these were actually basic figures. They were not elites. They had the basic movements, not the great elite movements in the figures. So that's one thing that a lot of people don't know. It obviously has elite style clothing, you know, the clothing extras and all that kind of stuff really take it up to the next level. But it is, at the end of the day, a basic figure, which is kind of strange that they kind of, I don't know if cheaped out's the right word, but that's the way they decided to go, and I don't know if I ever got the explanation. I'm guessing it was probably a cost-cutting measure. You know, you fancy up a basic, it's probably cheaper, obviously, than fancying up an elite. But that's Series 1 Triple H, a great figure. Let's move on here. How about Rey Mysterio? One of my favorite Rey Mysterios. This could be my all-time favorite Mattel Rey Mysterio. I love this outfit, and you guys know Jax did this one as well. I'll read the back of the box here. At 5'6", 175 pounds, some fans doubted whether Rey Mysterio could be a serious contender for a world championship. But Rey defied all odds at WrestleMania 22 when he emerged victorious in a triple threat match to claim the World Heavyweight Championship. Relive Rey Mysterio's unforgettable entrance at WrestleMania 22 with this highly detailed figure and base featuring his theme song, Booyaka 619, and his authentic headdress, chest piece, waist piece from the famed event. Like I said, I really enjoy this figure as well. Very, very cool. Love the outfit on it. Just bright packaging. Love the huge headdress. And once again, it is a basic figure. How about the theme? Let's hear a little of that. Boy, that just gets me excited. I don't know about you. But that's Rey. So moving on, Series 1. The next figure. HBK Shawn Michaels. So there it is in his WrestleMania outfit. So I'll read the back as I will with all these. After zip-lining from the top of the Arrowhead Pond down to ringside arena, Shawn Michaels faced against his longtime rival Bret Hitman Hart in his first ever WWE Iron match at WrestleMania. After 60 minutes in which neither opponent was able to score a pinfall or submission, Michaels finally landed Sweet Chin Music on Hart in sudden death overtime to win his first WWE Championship. Relive Shawn Michaels' unforgettable entrance at WrestleMania with this highly detailed figure featuring his theme song, Sexy Boy, and his authentic jumpsuit from the famed event. So there's the back of that one. And to me, Bret Hart got screwed in that match. I think a lot of people would agree with me that, you know, hey, sudden death, Iron Man, it's over. It should be done. Leave me a comment if you disagree, but that was the match. Move on to the next one. Hey, you'll get a rematch down the line, Shawn, but I don't know. We all saw what happened. Shawn won. So how about a little bit of Sexy Boy? Yeah, that's all we needed, really. There's the back. So yeah, another one. A very good entrance grade. Once again, it's basic underneath here. And this is one out of the three. I do think Jax hit this one better. That's me. Argue if you must. But I did like the Jax version of this figure a lot better. And I do think we'll get an updated Mattel of that probably one day. How about Series 2? So that was Series 1, those three. Series 2 continued with basics. And continued with one of my all-time favorites, Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper. One of the greatest of all time. With his outlandish behavior, colorful personality, and wild Scottish rage. Roddy Piper left quite a mark on WWE. Equal parts charismatic and chaotic, Piper captivated fans both in and out of the ring. Once the sound of bagpipes filled an arena, fans knew that the aggressive Hot Rod would soon be stirring up trouble anywhere he encountered it. Sometimes loved, sometimes hated, Piper was always undeniably compelling. Relive one of Roddy Piper's famous entrances with his highly detailed figure and base featuring his theme song, Hot Rod, and his iconic Hot Rod t-shirt, kilt, belt, and signature bagpipes. Whew, that's a wordy one. But this was really cool to get with the bagpipes and everything. I loved Roddy Piper. I did love the Hall of Fames. The Hall of Champions, Hall of Fame. That was the Hall of Fame. Sorry. Target. Elite Roddy Piper from Mattel. That was my favorite Mattel version of him. I loved long-haired Roddy Piper. When he beat the Mountie for the Intercontinental title, that was my Roddy Piper. I was a little bit young for WrestleMania 1, but growing up as a kid, I loved the Hot Rod on commentary and everything else, and I love having this figure with the bagpipes. I would love to see this updated. I think Mattel could do a lot more with this nowadays than they could, 10, 11 years ago. But this is still a cool figure, especially at the time. I was ecstatic to get this one. So let's hear a little bit of that song. Just a little bit. Sides, back. I'm a big fan of the Hot Rod, like I said. So very cool figure to have. All right, next up, Series 2. How about Chris Jericho? Everybody loves Chris Jericho. Not my favorite years of Chris Jericho. I think I've said before, his time with Ralphus, his time in ECW, his really early stuff is where I really loved Chris Jericho. I don't mind him, but those were my glory years of Jericho. We'll read the back here. As the countdown to the millennium kicked down towards zero on August 9th, 1999 episode of Raw, fans knew something monumental was about to occur. Out from under the Titantron appeared Chris Jericho, with his back to the audience's entrance music blazing throughout the arena. Y2J shouted his very first words as a WWE superstar. "Welcome to Raw is Jericho." Relive Chris Jericho's unforgettable entrance with this highly detailed figure and bass featuring his theme song, "Break the Walls Down," and his authentic shiny pants and flashy shirt from the famed event. Play the music here for you. Little sides. How about the back? This one's an okay one. I don't know. It's a basic. It's dressed up basic. It's got the shiny pants, the shiny silver. I don't know. I guess this is technically an entrance great, but I feel like something more could be done. But we also got to remember this is 10, 11 years ago. Toys have come a long way in 10, 11 years. So I think if they would do this now, it would be a heck of a lot better of a figure. But this is what it was at the time. Continuing on. This is a really good one. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. A very, very cool figure. You know, this is the iconic black suit. When I think of Ted DiBiase, this is what I think of. This black suit. It's cloth goods. Which I don't know if there's been another Ted figure in cloth goods. Usually it's hard plastic or not in this whole getup. You know, this reminds me back to the Hasbro, the Series 1 Hasbro Ted DiBiase. Known for his ostentatious displays of wealth, $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase always dressed to the nines for his WWE entrances. The well-heeled superstar both provoked and enticed fans of all ages, offering them money to perform demeaning tasks such as barking like a dog or kissing his feet. Although DiBiase claimed he could buy his way into WWE fame because everyone has a price, he also proved he could put his money where his mouth is when demonstrating his talent inside the ring. Relive one of the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase's famous entrances with this highly detailed figure and bass featuring his theme song, "It's All About the Money," and his iconic gold and black tuxedo and $1 Million Championship. So let's hear a little about that. We all know it. However, that battery is starting to die. You know, that's the bad thing. I mean, take any kind of toy. It sits in a box like this. The batteries corrode. The batteries die. They only last so long. It's been 10, 11 years. The battery's given out on this. You know, in a few years, it'll be totally gone, kaput, and that'll be all she wrote. But one of the best characters of the 80s. Very cool from my childhood. I'm remembering Ted DiBiase. Love this figure. I would love to see an updated one. You know, I think Mattel could do it even better now, like all these figures. Could do it better, but for 10, 11 years ago, I think this was the steal. This could be my favorite one so far. I always remember as a kid, I had a good buddy, and his grandpa always said, you know, Ted DiBiase, if he just wasn't all about that money, he could be a champion, but that money colludes him. And he's right. You know, if he just wasn't about that money so much, and if he could have just channeled his inner wrestler, his inner UWF days, he could have been world champion on his own merits, but that money clouded his judgment. So I can't argue that at all. So how about the next set? Let's get to the next one. There's only 2 in this one, where the other ones were 3. The Rock entrance grate. Probably my least favorite of the entrance grates. Just nothing too special. I'm not a massive Rock fan, just kind of rocking his little jumpsuit. And only 20 days after Mankind captured the WWE Championship from The Rock, the two faced off in an I Quit match at Royal Rumble 1999. A fearless Rock entered the ring, focused on making his nemesis speak 2 words he claimed he'd never say. After withstanding an incredible amount of punishment, Mankind sealed his fate by supposedly uttering "I quit" into the microphone. The Rock held next to him. However, it was later revealed that Mankind had not actually spoken. Those fateful words had come from a recording. Boy, who knew? I knew the second they did that. I hope all you guys did too. It was totally obvious. Anyways, Relive The Rock's unforgettable entrance of Royal Rumble 99 with a highly detailed figure and bass featuring his theme song, Know Your Role, and his authentic tracksuit from the famed event. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, this figure does absolutely nothing for me. But here's the little music. So, very cool. The music part really adds a lot to these. I mean, I know that's an easy gimmick they can use. Around the same time, the G.I. Joe 25th anniversary line was coming out, and they did some of this too with the music, and I was always just a big fan of that kind of stuff, hearing some of that. This one came with his iconic sunglasses, which have been duplicated over the years in a few of his elites. But just a pretty plain Jane Rock. I don't know if a lot of people, unless you're a diehard Rock fan, are clamoring for this one. I would imagine if most collectors probably have one or two of a character, not a completist like myself, where you need every single one. If you're only having one or two, I would be very interested to know if there's somebody that has to have this as their one or two Rock figures, because it's pretty plain Jane, and being a basic as well, it kind of is what it is. And then the final one in the set, which is a pretty awesome one, I think a lot of you guys will like, the Undertaker. You know, supposedly his Survivor Series get up from in 1990. So when $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase introduced the $1 Million Team Mystery Partner at Survivor Series 1990, fans had no idea they were witnessing the debut of one of the greatest superstars at all time. 6'11", the menacing Undertaker entered the ring with a ominous scowl that intimidated even the toughest of competitors. The dead man went on to eliminate 2 members of the Dream Team in his debut match, establishing himself as an unwavering force in the WWE. Relive Undertaker's unforgettable entrance at Survivor Series 1990 with his highly detailed figure and bass featuring his theme song Rest in Peace and his authentic hat, trench coat, and silver tie from the famed event. I remember being pretty hyped up as a 9-10-year-old kid watching that pay-per-view. I didn't know what to expect for the mystery partner. I was actually a huge Mean Mark Callis fan in WCW as a kid. I loved him and Daniel Spivey together. I thought he was going to take the world by storm, and then all of a sudden he shows up as the Undertaker. I said, what is this gimmick? I do not like that. Bring back Mean Mark. I want to hear the heart punch. I want to see people fall into that one. I thought that was the greatest thing ever. And I'd be lying if I said I was a huge Undertaker fan, which I know is sacrilegious to a lot. I actually liked, the Underbiker better than actually this. This was a little too hokey for me, I thought, even as 10 years old. Maybe if I was a couple years earlier, maybe I'd love him like I love the Ultimate Warrior. You just never know where it's going to line up. But here's the Undertaker's music. See if it works. Yep, it works. There's the back of the packaging. So there it is. That's the Undertaker. So now we can talk about a little about this one, because if you guys have kept up with one of my other videos and know what's going on in the toy world today with Walmart exclusive Incarnation of Domination coming out, or Decade of Domination coming out this summertime, Walmart exclusive, they're actually updating this figure, which I think they could do with a lot of these figures, updating them into current elite style with these, with the touches that Mattel gives to the product now. Very excited for that one. I think it'll be a good replacement for some collectors for this figure, and will really probably drop the value in this one. It will have to, because there'll be a better updated version out there. So that is coming out this summer, so be on the lookout at your Walmart. It's a Walmart exclusive. I already pre-ordered it, which is rare for Walmart to put pre-orders out like that, so I was excited to see. Well, so that was the first 3 series of entrance grates, and after that, they were put on ice. You know, the retros we hear, they're on ice. I'm hoping the retros come back like the entrance grates came back. In the Legends line, we know Target's getting that exclusive Legends line later this summer, so maybe these will be back, the entrance grates. I don't know if they will. Same with Defining Moments, but they came back, and they came back with a passion, a fury, something a lot of us collectors were dying for, and that was Kurt Angle. They came back with Kurt Angle as he came back to the WWE. We were all excited for this figure. It was Kurt Angle with hair, not the current day Kurt Angle, so it was a heck of a way to start it. As you can see, new packaging was given, not as thin, more of a wide packaging. Let's start with the music this time. We'll start. So there you go. It's very familiar music. We all know Kurt's music. A great figure that, boy, was in the clearance bins. I remember seeing this thing at Walmart for $7, where I'd always say to myself, why did I spend $30 on this figure when I could have waited 6 months and got it for $7? But the way we roll, the way I roll. So the back of it, Kurt Angle, theme song, Metal, debut match, event, Survivor Series 1999. Trumpets blare, filling arenas with pure red, white, and blue American patriotism. It's the only sound that truly exudes the three I's: intensity, integrity, and intelligence. The WWE Universe knows that Kurt Angle, their hero, and the only WWE superstar to ever win a gold medal, has arrived. Oh, it's true. It's true. Right from the back of the box, so it has to be true. Like I said, this was an awesome figure. A lot of people were excited to add this to their collection when it came out, including myself. And this was when they started doing just one-offs. It would be a case of one. There was no more 2 or 3 in a set. It was just one at a time. And they were staggered. There was no release like there's a basic and elite set every 2 months or so. These were kind of kamikaze. There was no real set schedule. It was all kind of all over the place as needed fit. It was a way for Mattel to get some figures into the line that maybe weren't going to fit in an elite set, or we felt needed a bigger boost up, like that Kurt Angle. So then after that was a recycling of another figure that we saw long ago. So Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy was back in the WWE, and if those longtime Mattel collectors remember, Jeff Hardy was going to be in Elite Series 1, but after him and Matt left the WWE, they canceled the figure, obviously, and they recycled that same figure with just a few little tweaks to this entrance scrape figure, which I'm happy they did. It was good to have it. More Jeff Hardy and face paint figures. You can't have enough of face painted figures in my book. They always sell well, and they're always good figures. And this Jeff was in the current style of the entrance scrapes. I'll read the back here. Jeff Hardy, theme song, No More Words. Ring attire, his first WWE Championship at Armageddon 2008. From the first pulse-pounding drum beat to the adrenaline-surging guitar riff, everything about Jeff Hardy's entrance tells the WWE Universe what to expect in the ring. He puts his body on the line with feats of unorthodox, high-flying daredevilry. Daredevilry. It's why the charismatic enigma is truly poetry in motion. So let's hear a little of that song, huh? Boy, I do hear the writings on the wall. I also see them. But Jeff Hardy, there it is. This was another one that was out with a passion. It seems like a lot of these entrance grades came out really hot. Everybody had to have them, and then they got overproduced and went to the clearance bins, and this one was no exception. There is a Mattel Elite Series 1. Supposedly there's like 10, 15, 20 of them that are floating out there, and a few loose prototypes out there that people have in their collections. That's an interesting one if somebody does have that. But I'm glad they recycled it for those that wanted it for mass produced. Next up was Bobby Roode. Seems kind of strange. You think of all these guys in the set so far and their historic Hall of Fame careers. I mean, every single one so far has been a Hall of Famer. Not quite sure on Bobby Roode yet. We loved him in TNA. We loved him in NXT. He's had his ups and downs in the WWE. But we can all admit his entrance is great. Started back in NXT, and that's what this is based off of. Glorious Domination, the theme song. Ring attire, new NXT Championship at NXT TakeOver Orlando. Only one word is needed to describe Bobby Roode. The angelic choir belts out that one word. The one word that sends goosebumps down the neck of each and every member of the NXT universe. It's the word that encapsulates a superstar who's not just a savior, who is more than magnificent. Bobby Roode's mere presence makes NXT glorious. So there you go. There's the back. Let's hear a little of that song. Great robe on this one. Great figure. When I first saw this figure, it harked back to Jack's classic Superstars. Boy, don't quote me. Series 12 Ultimate Warrior, where they packaged him backwards in the package, so they showed off his jacket. Very similar to this one, obviously, where they're showing off his jacket, the arms posed. I don't think you could have displayed this in a package any way better. Very, very cool figure. Like these other ones, went to the clearance bin, after a month or so sitting on the shelves. I remember seeing pictures on the internet that Goodwill's got these from Target, and they were selling them for $5 a pop at the Goodwill of all places. You don't look for new figures at the Goodwill very often, but apparently they had a bunch, because I saw pictures all over social media of this about a year, 2 years ago, whatever it was. Great figure, probably Bobby Roode's best Elite figure. You know, he had that Survivor Series Walmart exclusive on gear that he actually never really wore. And then he had another NXT figure. But besides that, I think this is the one to get if you have to choose. Moving on next was Finn Balor. Another one, you know, Finn is probably the modern day Ultimate Warrior as far as iconic face painted wrestlers, all kinds of different designs and things. And, you know, Mattel rightfully makes every single one they can because they sell. People love face painted wrestlers. I'll say it till my dying breath. This one is actually from Canada. So I picked this up in a lot and I counted it. I probably need to update it. You can tell by this black sticker. It's a Canadian sticker that they put on the Mattel figures for some odd reason. Actually, currently, you're seeing a lot on eBay if you're keeping close to the Mattel stuff. That Flashback Series 3 with Harley Race. Some Canadian discounter is selling a bunch of cases of those on eBay, and those stickers are on the front of every single one. So I don't know if this really takes the value down. To me, it probably does. Very similar to the French card Hasbro's back in the day, if some of you guys are old enough to remember those days. KB had all those on clearance. They're not quite as worth as the American ones. Same figure, same everything else. It's just the sticker and where it's from. Let's play a little of that music, huh? Yep, there it is. And there's the old back. Finn Balor. Now this Canadian one does not have a story on the back. So I am thinking, if I remember right, my loose one was an American, and I believe it had the similar writing. So that would be another difference, how you could tell it's a Canadian. It doesn't have the description on the back of the package. Down to the final two. There was 2 entrance greats after this, and the next one was huge. It was the man, Bill Goldberg. His first Elite figure outside, you know, he had the ring figure with the Raw ring, and then he had this one that was very, very sought after for those that didn't have the ring. This is actually his WCW attire, where that ring one was more of a current day Bill Goldberg with the gray. A very, very hard to find figure at first, which then it settled in like all these entrance greats do. People get them, and then the store shelves end up flooded with them, unfortunately. I know my dad is a huge fan of Goldberg. That's, if you talk wrestling to my dad, hey, it's Goldberg. Outside of the 80s guys, that's who he thinks of. And Goldberg got a lot of people back into wrestling back in the day. Maybe you that was watching this right here, maybe you got into it because of Goldberg in those WCW days. He was a big, big deal. And still performing today, even though his matches are about 30 seconds. But, anyways, here's a little music. We all know the theme song. Yep, there it is in the back. Goldberg. Theme song, Invasion. I guess I never knew that song was called Invasion. I do now. Ring attire from his first WCW Championship, Monday Night Nitro, 1998. Drums, thunder, cymbals crash, horns blare in a gladiator synchronicity as the name of the most destructive force in WCW history rings throughout the arena. Goldberg, Goldberg. Say it with me. Goldberg. Like an animal released from its cage, Goldberg marches to the ring, expelling intensity like a fire-breathing dragon. He stares to the ring with only one thought on his mind: who's next? And I believe I showed a little Easter egg at the beginning of the video. What the heck happened with this one? We won't beat on my buddy Lemmy anymore. He's sitting in his kennel right now as we speak. But that's Goldberg. And then finally, the very end, the last entrance great, Elias. This was an exciting one. This was Elias's first figure, and that was a theme with the entrance greats. Let's do something. They did the same thing with the defining moment Shinsuke Nakamura, if you remember back. That was his first Elite figure. It really should have been in the traditional line, a lot like this one. But hey, we're going to make the customer pay just a little bit more. This performer is hot right now. We can get an extra $5-10 out of him. We'll put it in the entrance grate for his first figure. It's very smart. You know, Mattel continues to do very smart marketing tools. Going on a little bit of a tangent, but think to the current basics. Putting Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, Bianca, their first Mattel figures are basic figures. And that'll make everybody buy them and then buy an Elite. Some people will wait for the Elite, but a lot of people say, oh, I need the first ever Matt Riddle figure. And that's what happened with this Elias. People are paying up for that Elias to get it. I think this is an awesome Elias. There was another one in Elite, late 50s, let's say 59. Somebody can check my math, but Elite 59, I believe, was the next Elias figure, which is a good figure too. I think the newest Elite is his best figure so far, but this one is pretty awesome as well. Let's play a little of that theme song, huh?
Who wants to walk with Elias?
Let's walk on with Elias. So you can see him: guitar, white pants, scarf, the stool. Just an awesome figure. You know, I have him sitting down loose in my collection on the stool. Elias, theme song, Walk with Elias. Ring attire, Elias World Tour 2018. Event, Monday Night Raw 2018. The simple strum of 6 strings speak volumes. A single spotlight shines down into the center of the ring as a lone figure sits with guitar in hand, slowly gazes across his followers in the WWE Universe. He mesmerizes the masses with a soulful blues riff, reminiscent of the Drifters of old, like a young Bob Dylan, really, if you think about it. With one question on his mind: who wants to walk with Elias? And I'll take that walk. I don't mind Elias. This is a great figure, and unfortunately, as of we sit right now, this is the last entrance great figure Mattel has came out with. They've threatened to come back with the line. We'll see if it ever happens. I think Mattel needs to let things marinate, let them simmer, let people reminisce, and maybe fall back in love with them and clamor for some more. I think we'll see defining moments back one day. Maybe we'll see these entrance greats back. You just really never know. The Legends line's coming back to Target. I would have guessed that would be the last line that would come back out. But I'm excited. I love Legends. I'm excited for that to come back. Maybe we'll be lucky enough to get entrance greats one back. I'm sure if you hit up Mattel on Twitter, you tell them Kyle said something, I'm sure they'll get them back in production probably by next week. There we have it. There's the end of our entrance great conversation. I would say it was a great conversation. It was good talking about these entrance greats. I haven't really thought about them in a long time. Maybe you guys have never thought about them. I guess leave me a comment in the video. Tell me, did you have entrance greats? Do you want them to come back? What are your thoughts on them? Were they your favorite? Were they your least favorite? Did you never even know they existed until this video? But leave some good commentary in there. Let's talk. Let's get that discussion going on the entrance greats. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've been gaining subscribers every single day, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys for watching and your great comments. And just tell a friend if you can. Let's get these videos to keep going. Let's get more eyes on them. Let's have some fun out there. Send me some requests. Send me some comments. Don't forget to follow me on social media. Instagram at @the_Kyle_Peterson. That's Instagram. And then Sir Paul64 on Twitter. Doing a lot of giveaways on there now. Doing figures of the day, store reports, all kinds of fun stuff on there that I just belt out every single day. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all the usual stuff. And we're going to see you guys real soon.